I'm going to let Amy start off and let Eve, and we'll just kind of let you guys know about a bit about ourselves.
Okay.
Well,
Hi, I'm Amy Roberts, and I am in San Antonio, Texas. I got my CAP certification in August, but I wanted it 20 years ago when we modified our home for my grandmother. And I learned about aging in place then. And I knew that I had to have this designation. I just loved everything. It was so practical and simple. And that was my destiny. And so after my children grew up and flew the nest, that was my time to do this. And so I'm excited to be here and help others.
and Eve, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about yourself as well?
Hi, my name is Eve Hill, and I have a background in writing. I worked a lot in television production and writing for TV, and then I got involved in working for nonprofits and Holocaust survivors. And Heather and I have been friends for many, many years. And she's been a real estate agent for a while. And I jumped in about a year ago with her, becoming a certified aging in place specialist. And it's been a way for me. It feels like the right thing to do. It's for myself and my future self and for the rest of the population, including my parents, who are definitely aging in place right now. And I find that what I'm learning here is helping me very much in my real life. And I'm looking forward to a long stretch of helping older adults and getting into the longevity lifestyle.
So my name is Heather Brooks, and I'm in Florida. I'm based in California and Florida, so I go back and forth. I have been working in the senior living sector for a good 5-6 years now. And I taught these types of classes for the last several years in the Seniors Network. And I've branched out because I felt that there's a lot more options out there. And there's a lot more education that needs to be done just beyond the senior living. There's a lot more that's going on. So one of those things is accessibility. And I thought this was a great class to start this series off with in our new group. But a little bit on my background, I was in education, and I had met Eve teaching at an elementary school in Los Angeles. And so we've been friends for many years, and I've been in real estate for a long time. I have an SRES designation and a CAPS designation. And I've merged the two together because I have noticed, and we're going to share some demographics with you and some statistics, which are kind of alarming in our housing market. And so I felt the need to educate and empower both homeowners and real estate agents in what's going to go on in our future in this market. Specifically, like if you look at our demographics, especially most of us on this Zoom call, 65, that boomer demographics, we are all going to face with, whether we ourselves or one of our loved ones. And when you see that by 2035, there's going to be more people over the age of 65 than there will be under the age of 19 years old for the first time in history, that should be eye-opening, because, we've got all these seniors and, our housing stock is not there. So that's where I was like, oh, we got to teach this, that, and this and that. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to let Eve start off the slideshow, and we're going to kind of walk you through things. One other thing I'd love to say is getting involved in either if somebody can just mute themselves, that would be great. The best part about this is getting involved either at your state level, your city level, or your national level. So great way to understand what is really happening within our housing, within what's going to happen with senior homeowners. So Amy works with SALSA, and she didn't mention it, but I'm going to mention it because kudos to her. It's an affordable housing for seniors in San Antonio. And so she works with a lot of builders as a real estate agent, and she gets to meet a lot of people in the community and help them. When we go through this course, like this talk with you, think about a homeowner using a wheelchair or walker. Every single slide we show you, think about how would my client go through this home? or how are they going to age in this home with a walker or a wheelchair? And that's important to remember, because each side you're going to go, oh, now I understand. And so as we start to go through this, walker and a wheelchair is a big thing, because we're living longer and mobility is a huge issue. And like, again, when you see some of these statistics, you're going to go, oh my God, it's great to be able to be on the forefront of it and educating. Even myself, or on a national level, we sit with HR 7676, which is a House resolution. It's a bipartisan resolution that we are working on for every homeowner to get a tax exemption when they age in place or they do home modifications. So that's what Eve and I are working on. And so if you ever want to work on something, definitely go to both your, city, state, or national level and get involved, because you'll understand after this little presentation we have. So Eve,
So,
Amy, go for it.
well, we've been talking a lot about the basics that we're going to do is we're going to walk through a home. And we're going to identify the key features, right? So, and if we have time, we'll talk about some basic steps about hiring professionals. And then some of these modifications can be done by us without any, you can do it yourself, and we'll get to that as well. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the statistics are, AARP says 77% of people 50 and up want to age in their homes. However, the US Census says that there aren't as many homes that are aging ready as there are people who want to age in them. So here's a little quiz. Heather, can you pop up our quiz? What percent of US housing is ready for an aging population? What do you think? Does everyone see the poll? Do you think that it's 10% of housing that's ready? Do you think it's
Yeah, they see it.
or 50%?
They see the poll. Ooh, we get stuff coming in.
5 out of 5, 6 out of 6. People are pretty savvy, I think. I think they're pretty savvy.
I'm going to give it a few more. Okay, 87% have participated in it. We're still waiting for a few more people.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop. I'm going to share it with you guys. So Eve, go ahead and say.
Okay, so we had our 10%, our 30%, our 55%, and guess what? 86% of you are right. Only 10% of US homes have these 3 key accessibility features. And those are a step-free entry, first floor bedroom and full bath, and at least one grab bar or handrail, elevated toilet seat, or shower seat. So that's the quiz, and you all were pretty much on it. So these are the 3 features that when we go into a home, these are the major things that we're going to look for. Is it a smooth entry? Is there a full bathroom on the first floor? And does it have grab bars and safety accessories in it? So only 10% of homes in the US do have those 3 features. So that's why there's a lot of work to be done. No matter where the person wants to live, they may have to modify where they are, or they may have to move and modify where they're going. So it's up to us as consumers and as agents to help people make those kinds of decisions and see what their best options are. So let's talk about the basic, the overarching principle of making something accessible is universal design. Heather, do you want to talk about universal design and just the basics of what it is? Is everyone familiar with universal design? Do people have questions about universal design? You can unmute and you can ask, or you can chat. There are 7 basic principles, and all these things you can see on the right, the shower head that can just be removed from the wall, and it can be lowered. If someone's sitting in a shower seat, they can get that shower head where they're sitting. They don't have to stand up. And in this kitchen on the left, you can see that this microwave is very low. So someone in a wheelchair can operate their own microwave, which is a plus. And so those kinds of things. And these drawer pulls are easy to pull. It's not a knob that someone would have to twist if they had trouble with their gripping strength or if they had arthritis. So those kinds of things are all universal design, and they're made for everyone of all ages from 3 years old to 100 years old. That's the idea. Would you like to add, Amy and Heather, anything about universal design before we get into the house?
You see the word visitability. You're going to see that word a lot in the future. That's going to be a new word. And word visibility is anybody with a wheelchair, a walker, a stroller, or that has problems walking, a toddler, they can easily access and visit that home and stay there. That's what the word visitability is. So you'll start to see that word in the future with homes, ADU units, granny flats, especially when you're geared towards the senior housing sector. Visitability is a big word, but it's a nice way of saying it's ADA compliant,
Right.
is what that's the visitability and word. So that's another.
Universal design is what pulled me in. When I was looking to do my home, my big thing was I did not want my house to look like an older adult lived here. I didn't want the big ramp in the front. I just wanted to find other ways because aesthetics was very important to me, still is. And Universal design would fit that bill. I love that.
So we're going to pull in an actual architect somewhere down the line for Universal Design, and they're going to talk about aesthetics and things that they've done so they can kind of show you. But past Universal Design, let's get on to the
Okay,
next.
let's start the walkthrough, and we're starting in the best room in the house. We're starting in the bathroom. And it's a very exciting place to start. And it's a very important place to start because most falls do happen in the bathroom. In fact, we've got some statistics. 1/3 of people 65 and over fall every year, supposedly. And according to the statistics, 81% of those falls occur in the bathroom. So that's why we're starting in the bathroom. It's also got a lot of exciting improvements.
So the bathroom happens to be the place where a lot of us spend time. However, when you look at the aesthetics of a bathroom, when you're needing to do improvements, it's not all that bad. And they've got some great products out there. However, us as real estate agents, it's not like we are there to guide them in, hey, we know this bathroom isn't, conducive to a wheelchair or a walker. However, there are some of these things that you can do to make this happen that come at a cost.
Yeah.
Or we can also find you another home that has these key features that may help you. And as I said, the aesthetics, because that's a big thing to people, can look nice.
It's beautiful. I mean, the one on the right, there's a grab bar on that cabinet.
Yeah.
And it just
next to a toilet.
Yeah.
So if they have that bathroom on the first floor, you always want people in your database, people that you can reach out to have help. You should have people in that database that can do renovations like this, because if you can help them age in their home longer, they will come back to you when they're ready to sell because they can't stay there any longer. They will. You helped them through this. Now you're going to have to help them to the second phase. Now that they're not able to stay, what do you do next? And I call that as a modify, or you need to move. You're either going to have to modify your home or you're going to have to move from your home. And us as real estate agents are there to guide them either through like modification or moving them. And so that this series that we're working on, we're going to bring educators from, different types of living, assisted living, independent living facilities to talk to you about what are the questions that your clients should be asking these people. But let's get back to the bathroom. Sorry to go off on a tangent.
There's a lot of fun. This is from a catalog by a manufacturer named Ponte Giulio out of Italy, and they're just extraordinarily beautiful things. I mean, there's a folding grab bar next to the toilet, and it's even got the toilet paper roll hanging from it. You wouldn't know, but it's a grab bar. It'll help you. Anyway, so let's go to the next slide. I think we have more beautiful. Oh, this is the before and after bathroom. Okay, so now we get to talk about what happens. This one looks familiar to most of us on the upper right. This is what most of our bathrooms have looked like. But and so now you can see if you were showing that house to an older adult, you'd say, well, there's some modifications here, but they're not overwhelming. To take out the cabinets underneath the sink so a wheelchair can slide in. And then the shower becomes a curbless shower instead of being a bathtub where the person would have to lift their leg over. And then
it's fully open and accessible for a wheelchair or a walker or little kids to go in and play around.
Does anyone have any questions about the kinds of things that are happening in the bathroom? Or
remember, this is your biggest place that homeowners will fall and they will end up in the hospital, all in this area. And so it's not just the curbless shower or getting under this. There's other issues in this series, in this photo. If you look at that top photo, there's a rug there. A rug happens to be one of the #1 slip and fall issues in there in a bathroom, is rug. So take, like little things that you can do. These are little things that you can put in your newsletters to senior homeowners to give them little tidbits of information. Hey, did you know that slip and falls occur in bathrooms? Here's one thing that you can do to help minimize that, is take away rugs in a bathroom.
So
And
then
you can also recommend products like the Ponte Julia she was mentioning. They have a line where the bars are covered with vinyl, and you can tell a difference. It's certainly much warmer than your chrome. And if you know anything about neuropathy in the hands, it feels like blades being cut. And when you grab something cold, it intensifies it. And so they've come up with this vinyl coating that's amazing. It's not as cold.
So you can get people excited about grab bars. We've been very excited about grab bars since we found out about these.
You can wrap it in your favorite sports teams too.
I just want to say, Vince said something really interesting. Vince, thank you so much for saying that. He said drastic changes sometimes hurts marketability. And I agree. However, when you're talking about, Eve, can you put in Ponte Julio in there? One of the things that we wanted to talk about those drastic changes sometimes hurts marketability. When you look at some of these bathrooms that we work on, or that we've worked with other builders, they're amazing. They are phenomenal. They don't look like your average bathroom. As you can see with the Ponte Julio bathroom, there are people that win awards in housing, in the housing community specifically for these designs. It's up and coming. It's not like we talk about, it's not your granny's grab bar anymore.
And it is true that the contractors and the builders need to be educated, and then they need to get excited about it, because it's going to add life to the home. It's going to add value. It's going to, like you said, make everybody welcome there.
Yeah, it's a lifespan of the home.
And as the silver tsunami keeps coming, you're going to have more people looking for this kind of house. And if it's done well, done right, it's going to be at the top of the list. It's going to be the one in demand that everybody wants, because it's got the aesthetics, it's got the functionality to it. It's going to be the first one.
The thing about universal design is that it's easy to use. It's for right-handed and left-handed. It tells you how to use. It's like one of these things that says there's different modes. It'll show you visuals. It'll be tactile. It's just different ways of approaching it, no matter the kind of person you are. It appeals to everybody. Anyway, that's universal design. So we have this, and now let's look at this bathroom, which is Amy can talk about, because the one on the left looks awesome. But when you really look at it in terms of aging in place, there are some fixes that would have to happen.
Yeah, so the one on the left, it's very modern, it's open, everything that's been right now. But if you were to have a vision issue, I would walk straight into that glass right there. It hit me in the face. Yeah, it needs to have some contrast to that, something bigger. So I have a lady that I'm talking with right now who is blind. She's going blind, and she can only see right here. And the person teaching her canes and such said the best thing people can do for someone with a visual issue is to have the contrast. So the contrast in the floor to the wall, it could even be outdoors from the sidewalk to the side of the house. And you need a lot of the monochromatic thing is in, but it's not good for somebody with a visual disability. So I would change the contrast in the floor. The mirror, it's way too high. If you are challenged with your height, you wouldn't be able to see into that mirror. And where would you sit? And you need some bars in there. And then I also have lighting put up, because if there's a light behind you, you're going to be having shadows cast. It needs to be right here in front of you. And universal design, aging in place, that's what all of this talks about.
And also those cabinets under the sink would have to come out.
Well, at least the sink bowls changed. I mean, they wouldn't necessarily be able to pull up to it, and not everybody will be in a wheelchair. But I think it's nice that you can sit and put your makeup on if you want to there and be able to reach in.
So that's interesting. So even something that's modern could use some
Updating.
Aging in
Let's
place.
go to the next slide.
let's see what the next. Oh, now we're in the kitchen. We've left the bathroom. We're in the kitchen.
So the kitchen is a huge thing for all of us, as we know, when it comes to cooking. That is where the family gathers, especially with seniors. We like being able to have our family with us. If you look at some of these things, they actually are very easy for young kids to be able to access, and not just seniors. This isn't just about seniors. So it's also a kid-friendly type of access to certain things. As you can see, like in some of these things, you've got the pull-out microwave. Very easy. You can't slip and fall, easy to grab stuff into. If you have gripping issues, especially for seniors or for little kids that can't reach up and grab something to pull it out, they'll burn themselves. It's the same with seniors. It's no different. They have the same type of gripping ability when it comes to pulling and lifting and holding on to things and it not spilling. It's much easier to grip it from a microwave like this, or a cutting board that pulls out. We still old school, we still have some of them in our houses, but somehow they just kind of went by the wayside, and a lot of houses started getting rid of them. Your dishwasher, having a pull-out dishwasher, much easier than a pull down, having to lean in to put stuff in. It's much easier just to pull out right there from a drawer. And Fisher, Paykel, all of them make amazing drawer dishwashers. And you've seen some of the houses that they've been in. It's, that's easy. These pull-out shelves and cabinets.
And another thing to look for in the kitchen and the bathroom is a turning radius. You think about someone in a wheelchair, and there's a certain standard of a 60-inch turning radius. So that's like when you look in these kitchens, some of them you wouldn't have any room to maneuver, so that's a consideration. And the lighting, like what Amy was saying, overhead lighting, very helpful when you're making a meal, especially when you have a knife in your hand.
My 2 bits about the dishwasher is you don't have to, it's much smaller, and to fill it up and load it, you don't have to wait for days for your dishes to fill up, because it's just you and your spouse or whoever. So that's nice that it's small. And then as far as the microwave, the ones above the ranges, if you think of somebody with a trimmer and they're trying to put a hot bowl of soup in, and it could go right down the front of them and it's burning hot.
So it just makes more sense for everybody, most of these things.
But aesthetically, it's not that bad.
It's beautiful. I love the cabinet with the pantry and those things that pulls out like
So
that.
I just did, and some of these pictures are from my home that I just redid in Northridge. I did a home that was a universal design home. It was very easy to get in and out of. The kitchen cabinets, the microwave, the dishwasher, it was all easily accessible for anybody. Like if you have a kid on your hip and you can't reach to stuff, I wanted it to be very accessible, but I wanted to be really pretty. And so I was able to accomplish all of that in that home. But again, back to Vince, I agree. It has to be very specific when it talks about accessibility in a home and how aesthetics look. But there are products out there. And just finding the right people, but we're going to go over that. I'll go, what's next after kitchen, Eve?
Okay, let's see what's next after kitchen. Oh, lighting. We're going to talk about lighting, and we love this quote. Who wants to read the quote?
Okay, I do, because I love this person. If you don't know who Dr. Joseph Coughlin is, please look him up. He's from the MIT Age Labs. In fact, he started MIT Age Labs, and he has a whole study going on about aging. And they are coming up with some of the cutting technology throughout, not only homes, but cars, society, everything on every, in every facet in the aging sector for seniors. And he's really interesting. So he's got a lot of great quotes, and you'll often find us quoting him, but you need 20 times more light at the age of 40 to see as well as you did at 20 at night. So again, you should check him out.
So now there's a lot of lighting ideas, but it really comes down to, we keep saying at least 2 sources of light in every room. And it's not just because a light bulb might burn out. It's also because it reduces glare when you have more than one light source. And that would be good for visually impaired people. Did you have something to add, Amy? I saw you smiling. No? What? Oh, no, she's muted.
Oh, no, I'm laughing at Vince's comment.
Oh, I'm not keeping up with the chat. What did he say?
He
What
said,
did he say?
sorry, I can't see it. Vince, you're funny.
Can't see what?
He said,
Oh, because of the lights. Okay.
So really another big issue is gripping. As we grow up, we have a hard time with gripping, and gripping seems to be a big issue. So when you're talking about light switches, that's the easiest, one of the very simplest things that you can do to help minimize stuff, along with more lights in a room. But dimmers and rockers and switches are very easy for them to switch on and off. As if they've got people that live, like their son or daughter that live away, they can use apps to help them with lighting. And then there's smart lighting, motion sensor lighting. So if they get up in the middle of the night and they go to the bathroom and they can't see, there's these special motion sensors you can put under your bed. And the minute you step out, it lights up the flooring so you can actually see your way to the bathroom. So it's very simple hacks, very easy. These are little things that you can put in newsletters to senior homeowners to talk about things like, hey, have you tried this little senior hack?
And the thing about the light switches and the electrical switches is, if they are in a wheelchair, they may need to change the height of those things. They may need to lower the electrical switches and raise the electrical outlets, because the outlets are all the way down on the floor and you can't reach it if you're in a wheelchair. You'd fall out of your wheelchair. So there are standards about that for universal design for the heights of these switches and outlets. So that's another consideration. Does anyone have any questions?
And yeah, so Rhonda actually shared something really interesting, and Rhonda, your parents are the statistic of all homeowners. So people want to continue to own their own home, and it's more important. This is what she's saying. The fact that it could affect your sales price timeline to find the right buyers. My parents installed a walk-in tub. Otherwise, they could not continue to live on the farm they've been on for 50 plus years. We put our values automatically when initial gut response that it will affect the sale. Now, I agree with Rhonda. I think that it is so important for our parents to live safely and independently for as long as they can. And they have owned this home. It is their money. It is the way that they wanted it. And sometimes the children get involved on the way that the home should be, or the way that it's going to be affecting something. But if installing something for longevity of them to be happy and to be safe is at this moment more important than the long run.
Yeah,
it is for now. So, because here's the deal, they will sell their home. It may not be right this second when they do that shower, but I can promise you that they will sell this home. And that realtor that you're talking about that had the same thought, that realtor is going to be the realtor that's going to be like that person, the homeowner who's been there for 60, 70 years now is thinking in the back of their mind, that realtor wanted me to stay in their home. They didn't want me out of their home. They even helped me stay in my home. They helped me find the people in the home. They helped me find the right shower, or they helped me find the right people to get that shower. That's networking. That's part of what we do as real estate agents, or whatever field we're in. That's part of what we do. And being able to offer those little pieces of advice or little things that you could do to elongate it, because you aren't going to be able to change their minds, at least you can give them information and educate them. Because when they can't do it, they're going to come to you because you've been there for them.
Okay.
Anyway, go. I'm sorry, lighting.
Oh, are we done with lighting? We have more lighting ideas?
No, we're done. Let's go stairs and steps, because this is
Stairs and
it's an
steps.
important one.
Okay, so
When
stairs.
we- I'm going to go back to that 10% of our nation's housing units.
Do you want to?
Let me tell you, a stair or a step is a big issue because most houses have them.
Yeah, of course. So this next slide is a list of things that we were going to talk about. Okay, so let's talk about the handrails on both sides on your staircases indoors. Most of them just on one side, but both sides, of course, is safer. We talked about the motion sensor lights on the stairs, very helpful. Non-slip surfaces. Has anyone heard of carp stair nosing? And they can reinforce like the edge of the stair where your foot goes on with non-slip tread. So that's a very good and a permanent solution to help people not fall when they're stepping on the steps. Of course, if you're in a wheelchair, you're going to have to get one of those stair lifts to go up and down the stairs. And that can be pretty pricey, but it could be covered by Medicare. If your doctor orders it, you could get some funding, perhaps. Medicare Advantage may fund them, but not Medicare. Ramps can be very cheap. They can be removable, they can be foldable, or they can be permanent, and you can get them on Amazon. That's a pretty good solution. But the big thing, the 0-step entry, that's one of those key features. And I mean, you don't want someone to be aging in place and not being able to leave their house because they can't get out the door and down the steps. So that's a major concern.
Especially in a, again, walker or a wheelchair, someone with a stroller, somebody with, like a little toddler. It's like a little drunk person walking down the stairs, a little toddler, and it's very uneasy. Well, it's uneasy with somebody that has Parkinson's, and it's not that I'm comparing the two. It's that anybody and everybody, visitability, meaning across the board, can use it. And there's, as you can see, these aren't fancy. There are really fancy ways of doing these ramps that aren't so, that don't look like this.
Yeah. But a stair chair, that's what they look like. Does anybody want to, Amy, have anything to add about stairs and steps? No? Okay.
No.
You feel good
I
about-
wonder though, on the top left one, what the temperature gets. So I'm in South Texas, and I can just feel how hot those would be.
Well, so that's a really good.
Or what if it was in the wintertime? I could only imagine if you touched it.
Ponte Julio needs to get on that. We need to talk to them.
Well, Ponte
Some
Julio
vinyl on there.
Ponte Julio is bathroom specific. They are bathroom.
okay.
They're all about the bathroom.
So
Yeah, I wish they did kitchens too. Anyway, yeah.
let's go past the stairs and steps.
Let's go past the stairs. Now we have our DIY slide. These are things that might be kind of easy that any of us could try. Maybe we should do one where we put the drawer handle together.
One of the biggest things that we didn't put here that every real estate agent should know, because I bring a tape measure when I am looking for, and I'm in Florida and California, so I look for people on both sides. But the biggest thing I do is I bring a tape measure with me because I have to measure doorways.
Yeah, that's.
And I don't know why we didn't put that slide in there, because that really is a big thing. But if you want to pop it into the chat box, that would be great. But does anybody know how large a doorway has to be in order for a wheelchair or a walker to be able to get through there without
That would be
scraping your knuckles across it?
That'd be a good pull.
Just out of curiosity, anybody drop 36 inches, says Deborah?
That's good. That's
36,
36 is
Wanda?
quite generous. Yes.
Quite generous.
Yeah.
Very
And
generous.
I think the minimum for the Federal Housing Act is 32.
Yeah.
However, Heather, what do we find? And Amy, what do we find in most homes when we try to get into a bathroom through the doorway?
24 inches.
4,
Yeah.
24, 28.
24 inches.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I take my dad's Rollinator with me and show people. If it was like one of those aluminum ones with the tennis balls on the front, you could probably turn it sideways and reach it
Yeah.
in. But that's just
So one of
like
the
a
biggest
32.
things, yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things is we will bring tape measures to, like, when I'm going to look for clients, and it's very hard for clients to get in and out of your car to go look at a listing. It really is. One may be mobile, one may be not. So I try to my best to pre-scout all of it before they come into anything to look at it. And I bring my tape measure. And if it's not at what it needs to be, there are ways. Yes, you can get a copy of the slide presentation, Cindy. But if there are
There are some ways to write
little, there are little things that you can do. There's extenders that will widen a door in order to do it, that are easy DIY stuff.
And I'll say, as realtors, we need to be very careful when we go in to assess a home. If you're putting one on the market, and I know with the MLS that we're in, we can click accessibility. It's an accessible home. And a lot of people do that. And you've got a sunken living room there, and you've got steps up and small doorways to the bathroom. That is not an accessible home. And so we need to educate our fellow
you will
realtors.
get flagged. Someone who knows will report it. But you're going to start to see MLSs. You're going to start to see listings saying universal design or accessible unit. Visit, the word visitability again. That's going to be a new terminology that's going to say, hey, anybody can come stay here. We have a bathroom that's accessible for somebody in a wheelchair or a walker. And it's important when assessing the next step of living arrangements of where they're going to go, because as we know, 10% of the nation's housing unit can accommodate it. But the problem is what about the accessibility? Like, is it safe? That's the bottom line. And the kids are going to argue it's not, and the parents are going to say, yeah, we're going to make it work.
Right.
And that's the struggle that we as real estate agents have. Okay, so lighting, stairs, you're right.
These DIYs, this is supposedly, I have never put in a lever door handle, but I'm reading about it and it does not look that difficult. But it was interesting to see this, these what is it called? The avoid handles that open on both ends. I mean, these are little things that if you're looking in a house, you might, they might really appreciate that, because they don't want to get their sleeves caught on their drawers. And we didn't talk about in the bathroom, the raised toilet seat. That's a very easy thing to add on, and that also is necessary as we get older. We need to sit up a little higher to make it easier for us to stand. So those are some easy things that you could do that might make yourself or your client feel much better, and they won't cost a lot of money. Anybody else want to say anything about that? What do we have next? Where are we going next? Oh, we can talk about what we do and how we can help, and how a certified aging in place specialist could help. Heather, you want to?
Well, and it's how to hire, not just hire a professional, but us as real estate agents in our database. If you are working with seniors, you better have some of these people in your database to be able to refer. And if you don't, then you need to reach out to people like this, because this is going to help homeowners that want to stay in their home a little bit longer, or whatever it is. They're going to modify it, or they're going to have to move. Help them modify it, and then help them move when they have to move. But people like this, OTs, PTs, we are going to have people come in and talk to you about what they do. We're going to have somebody that's an occupational therapist that will talk about what they do. We're going to have an attorney talk about probate. We're going to have attorney talk about trust and wills. But hiring a professional is one of the biggest assets that we can give to people in our community, whether it be a cleaner, a window cleaner, a person that does siding, a person that cleans your sidewalks, whatever it is. these are somebody that you should have in your database as a senior real estate agent or anybody that works in the senior field. It doesn't matter if it's just real estate agent. These are people to have and connections to have that can help you.
Yeah. So occupational therapist, very good at assessing the activities of daily living, and they have a lot of creative ideas for that. And a certified aging in place specialist, also a lot of creative ideas. And we have the referrals, and we can make the recommendations for the products. And anybody, and we're going to mention the National Association of Home Builders CAPS directory. There's a directory, if you go on this site, of everybody. You can find it by location who is CAPS certified, and you can also find the contractors that are also CAPS. So you get both of them together, and that might be a really good resource for you to call upon in your area, because they can make the changes and they're sensitive to what the older adults are going to need. Anybody want to say anything else about this slide?
No, we're going to do questions and answers after we're all done.
Okay, everybody talks about the costs, right? So here are some interesting costs. Obviously, removing throw rugs is cheap. You can just do it. Grab bars can be as little as $30 or $40 and up to hundreds of dollars. And then installing them can get a little bit expensive, because you may have to take the wall off and put the blocking in behind it so the grab bar can attach and adhere and withstand all that weight. So that would have to have a professional come in to see what you would need for that. Reinforcing handrails. Okay, so obviously this no-step shower. My mother wants to get a no-step shower, but she's gotten quotes from $8,000 to $30,000 to redo her bathroom. So that could run into some cash, but you need it. Okay, so what's my next? So that's where we can.
I will say, let me jump in here. I'll say that with the salt set thing that I work with, so many homes don't have that reinforcement on in the bathroom walls, right? And we are trying to come up and do a whole new city ordinance to make the builders and remodelers put that in there. I mean, it's just a board to go between the studs. It's ridiculous to not have it. It costs very little, and they have to tear out everything to build it back up just for those boards. And they don't do it because it costs too much.
Right.
And so
they don't have a grab for that. Yeah, you should fight. That's really important.
I just throw it there, just let it go.
So as you can see, one of the biggest and hugest issues for a senior homeowner is the cost of common home modifications as we grow up. And that goes back to the lifespan of our homes. The lifespan of our homes, and I'm going to give you the psychological view of a senior homeowner. They bought their homes 50, 60, 70 years ago. We've owned our homes for 30 plus years, 40 years. We have equity in them, but then as we retire, we're on a fixed income. So all of a sudden we need to make a home modification. And once we're retired, that home modification is going to be costly if it's one of those 90% of our housing stock who only has rooms and bathrooms on the second level, because that's a majority of our housing stock. Or it's a no-step entry, and then there's a little bathroom but no bedroom, and then you've got to make bigger and you got to take out. Doesn't matter. The point is the cost, and the cost is something that is very important in this, and that's why we get to modify or move. And I know you talk about reverse mortgages and you talk about this, but when you're talking about longevity, and we've literally doubled the amount of centenarians just in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. Think about that. The amount of people over the age of 100 have doubled in the last 10 years. What's going to happen in the next 20 or the next 30, or screw it, by 2035? Because that's when we're going to have more people over the age of 65. Yes, you're going to take out a HACM, but what are you going to do you're not going to have money. The point is, you're not going to have money to make those modifications. And then you're not going to have money when you have to sell the house. So as real estate agents, or as whatever you are, trying to advocate for funding to help clients make modifications, or to help clients move to a place where they can actually live safely is ideal. You know, we have tax breaks for seniors who are looking to sell. I know in California, we have Prop 19, taking a base value of a tax as a senior, adding it to another, whatever, you know, at the base value of it, and still paying the taxes from 1970, whatever. So these are types of things that we have to have in play when you talk about people that are going to live to 100. And that's reality. These are statistics that are in ARP, that are in wherever you want to look. I'm not making them up.
That's why it's good to look at the things that you can do yourself and to look at the things that aren't expensive. And then you start doing them and you start feeling better and you start planning and you do it little by little. And so by the time that you really need these modifications so you can live safely, they're there. And unfortunately, if you have an accident, you fall, you're going to have a home to come back to if your home has been modified and prepared for you. And if you don't have a home to come back to, you're going to spend more time in rehab. You're going to spend more time on doctor bills.
But here's the statistic of what she's about to say. The more time that you spend in rehab and the less time you come home, the less likely you are to ever come home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the sad statistic. That's why it's so important to say modify or you're going to have to move, because modifying means you're going to be safe at home, or moving, you're going to be safe at a different home. So it's their decision. But as a real estate agent, we're here to educate them about not just statistics, because that's eye-opening enough and it should be, but little things like this that are freebies for them.
So Heather, do we have time for our second poll? We're going to see if anyone can tell us what the top 3 most common home modifications are. What do you think? Are we ready?
I just launched it.
Okay.
So what are the 3 most common home modifications?
Choices? There's like a lot of choices here. Yeah. Okay. There you go. So there's a lot of choices.
So I just put the poll up. Go ahead. I'd love to see what everybody has to say. Ooh, there's some really good stuff.
Personal alert system, full bath. Let me see. Is everybody?
I'm with the 75% on most of these. Oh, it's changing. It keeps changing. 72% participated. So I have 8 of 11. Anybody else want to participate in this? I'm going to close it up in 5, 4, 3, 2.
We get to see the results.
Got one more person come. All right. So I'm going to end the poll now. And this is what our results are.
Grab bars. Yay. The new champion. Yeah, that is correct.
So here's what it is. It's adding, this is what the poll says. The poll basically says grab bars are 67%. Personal alert is 33%. First full bath on first floor, 78%, and adding ramps, 67%. Here's what the national average is.
And it's grab bars. Yes, 70-something% for grab bar. Entrance ramp. Like I said, those can be very easily. You can just drop them on your stairs if you get the mobile ones, or the whatever you call them. And the doorway width, because you need to get into your bathroom. So of course that's going to be important. First floor bath is a big project, but a lot of people do it. Okay, and personal alert system, interesting. So it's the least most common. I guess people don't like those. I've fallen and I can't give up. You know, it has a stigma to it, so maybe they don't want to use those. Anyway, so that's interesting. If anybody wants to take another minute to look at that, that's kind of, we have a couple other bonus slides, but if we have questions and answers, you want to use the time for that, we can do that.
I'm just going to say one thing. When Eve and I were talking about HR 7676, and then Amy, I was telling you about Amy's Salsa housing. These are very important to us. And I say that because these are helping homeowners put money back in their pocket. And we're behind stuff that wants to put money back in their pocket. And so I urge you as a real estate agent, or as whatever you're in, to get involved with something in the senior market and put money back in the seniors' pocket. They've been paying taxes and they've been paying their entire lives. We all have, but to help put a little bit back in a senior's pocket, because we know that they're going to live past 100 for most of us. It's every little bit counts. And so it's always nice to know that we're that we're giving back, and we're also making our futures because it's going to help us later down the line. All right, so go for it.
Should
Next
I skip
And
past
then
the next
questions
two-
and answers.
Yeah, should I skip past the next two slides about the 5 components of aging in place?
Yeah, go for it. Skip
gonna
past
skip
it.
that.
We're going to go through that. So one of the things, the 5 components, just go really back.
Oh.
5 components to aging in place nationally, on a national level. They look at these 5 things and rate communities based on
Yeah.
these 5 things. So you can see how your community's rated. And basically it is housing and the affordability. Okay, the transportation and the needs of what the transportation offers to somebody that's a senior home, a senior in the senior demographics, health and wellness. Are there health facilities and places that are easily accessible? Is there stuff that they don't have to drive an hour out of town if they need a doctor's appointment, or if a hospital visit, or if there's something wrong, or they need a treatment? It's easily accessible. Social connections and growth, meaning your community offers senior type services, senior type things that incorporate, the growth of their mental stability and their
Learning, yeah.
and learning and connections and keeping them engaged so they don't disengage. And then personal finance, that's going to be probably the first and foremost issue for all senior homeowners, is their personal finances. They can take a heck and blown out, but what are they going to do for their future?
So that's why we end with this slide, because we focused on the house, but we also have to understand and appreciate that it's more than the house, it's the community. So when we're advising the client or customer about if their home is safe, well, can they ever go and get an ice cream if they want? Is there a ride share? Is there a paratransit that can take them where they want to go? So, and that's the kind of thing that we're going to keep exploring as we keep doing these classes, is all these other components and how they work together.
So next week, we are going to do a marketing class for senior homeownership. So if you want to know how to find seniors, the senior demographic within your community, we are going to we're bringing in somebody who knows how to do this and who's going to show us how to do this. So that's next Tuesday, but we're going to open it up to questions and answers, and we'd love to hear from you. And if there's stuff that you guys want to learn or you want us to adventure or look at, drop it in the chat box and we'll write it down, because we're looking to explore all different ideas when it comes to aging in place and senior options. It's senior housing options, I should say. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up and let anybody talk.
Yeah, if they want to talk. So while they're thinking of questions, I'll just say this, the bill that Heather keeps mentioning, HR 7676, if you want to look it up, it's also called the Home Modification for Accessibility Act. And if I have a multitasking bone in my body, I can write down homesrenewedcoalition.com, which has all the information. They're really fighting for it to get passed, because like Heather said, it will offer a tax incentive for people to make home modifications for aging in place. It will give them, if you're under 59 and a half, you can withdraw from your 401k with no penalty if you make these home modifications. So you're going to renovate your home anyway. This money's for your retirement anyway. So you can withdraw it early and you can make your home safer and be done with it.
And it's not just this type of a tax thing you have. So in California, every state is different. In Florida, you have a homestead tax. California, our taxes are outrageous. And so we have what's called Prop 19. We fought hard to get Prop 19 on the ballot to help seniors move from one home to another with the base value and the tax value from one home to another. So the taxes didn't go from what they bought in 1972, whoever that is, maybe they could mute themselves. So they bought it in 1970 or 80 or 60 or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden go to find a house, and we know prices from 1960 to now are way higher. those taxes aren't going to have an implication on them moving. So that's just something that we as real estate agents and NAR, National Association of Realtors, they're really good about this. AARP is really good about fighting for, help in the senior demographics or in helping homeowners get tax breaks on certain things, especially when it comes to aging, because there's going to be an issue. Questions, please.
That's okay. Well, now we can just plug ourselves if they're not gonna.
Okay, so I had a question,
Oh, great,
actually.
great.
Sure.
I had to mute myself because my dog was barking. Hi, everybody. This was
Hi.
very informative. What a great program. It's a simple question, where if seniors are just doing simple things around the house, like pulling up throw rugs in the bathroom,
Mhm.
what do they step out on after they take a shower? If
I
there's
was
no
going to
throw
mention
rug?
that too.
Go ahead. Oh, Amy, you were gonna mention, oh, yeah, there's the.
Well, I
non-slip
was gonna-
mats. Yeah.
I was going to say that because that's true. I mean, the floor is wet. They need something to just dry their feet on. And you can get the tape, the double stick tape, but a heavier rug, something that's larger and that's not going to kick up like those little bath mat rugs. You know what I'm saying? I think the heavier the rug, and if you tape them down, you just want to watch the toe stubbers so that you don't trip and go down. If you just can
But
teach them
it's
that,
also-
build that
it-
muscle memories.
It's also the non-slip, non-porous type stuff. So if you notice in a lot of the bathrooms, the way that the bathrooms are situated, they run down towards a drain. So when you step out, you're stepping out even though you're dripping wet, everything's running back so you're not standing in a puddle. And that's a very big factor on the slope. The design of how that goes down, and the type of flooring that you're using, something that is, something that's going to absorb the water much faster or make it drain much faster is going to be easier to step out on. But again, any type of a rug or a carpet is just that much like of a percentage higher of you slipping
But
or tripping or whatever.
there are non-slip mats like for kitchens that
Mhm.
might be good, like rubber or different that are washable. And they also, I think on Amazon, you can order them by size. You can order a specific size. So that might be an option too.
Yeah. But again, the less being able to have to roll up or roll off of is better. And non-slip, as long as it's non-slip and it's non-port, it's not something that you have to worry about. But there's a lot of great material out there now. There really is. I mean, there's a lot of great architects that are coming up with wonderful designs, home builders that have won awards for their designs in Universal Design. One of the largest 55 communities in Daytona, Margaritaville. They've won the most housing designs for Universal Design, and it's amazing. You should see. They've got 21 awards for their building design. There's another one, if you haven't seen, and these are people, we're going to have people come in and talk to us, but another one is called WheelPad. WheelPad is an EDU unit that is brought in and can be attached to a home. So it could be a granny flat, but it's an EDU unit. You can either lease them, or you could buy them. They're out of Vermont. We're going to have them come talk to us about
They're
their
built
unit.
completely accessible to such an extent that there's even a track on the ceiling if you need to be hoisted and carried from the bedroom to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It comes with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to have all these people talk about it. We sit on a board with one of the guys over at WheelPad, but these are all people that we engage with. And that's why I urge everybody on here to talk to people in their community and to see what's going on in the senior sector, because there's not enough, and we are at the forefront of what's about to happen in the future, especially when 2035 comes along. Anybody else? All right. I know we're dropping off with people. It's already 8 o'clock. People are either hungry or they need to go eat. This is us. Amy Roberts is called she's at the Senior Strategist. You can go like us, follow us or whatever on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that. We do a ton of stuff of social media. I will tell you, we're going to get into social media with you guys. We're going to bring in experts that are on social media and demographics that will help you guys and us learn strategies in this, especially in the senior sector, and experts. It's not going to be us teaching. We just wanted to do this for the first time and just say hello, show you all about what we know and what we do as real estate agents and certified aging in place specialists, and how we help our clients and future clients, both in educating homeowners, both around us and nationally, but in our communities too. And so if Amy or Eve wants to say anything, please do.
No, well, this was great. No, I think
I'm
we
so
covered a
glad
lot of
y'all
bases.
came.
We've got a lot to go. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, I'm so glad we had a good turnout. Thank y'all
Yeah.
so much for coming and participating. It takes the crew. We'll all get it
Yeah.
done together.
And if there's anything you guys want to see, please
Yeah.
let us know. We will bring it. We'll bring some expert. One of us will find an expert in this community to help us understand that. Some of the things we are going to do is Medicare, Medicaid, what pays for what. I mean, it would be great to know. Some of the issues on probate and probate sales. We're going to also bring in people that are going to talk about why it's so important to have a living trust, and how we can guide clients and find people in our community, all the way to putting together slideshows so you can go into your own community and be able to present all of this information to them as an experienced senior real estate agent. Somebody did ask about CAP certification or SRE
right.
certification. I will tell you. So the SRES certification is through NAR, the National Association of Realtors. You can get that through your local real estate board certified. And as the CAPS certification, which is a certified aging in place specialist, that is done through NAHB, NAHB. That is the National Association of Home Builders. That's where all of our builders go to get certified in certain things, especially like when it comes to ADA and home renovations and home stuff. There's a lot of great information that comes out of NAHB, especially when it comes to housing, and our housing supply and what's happening on our future housing. When you look at what NAR takes, they take it from NAHB. So if NAHB is a great place to get
And
information.
there's an education tab if you want to learn about how to get your CAPs.
Yeah.
So
So
no, you have to join your local board, Builders Association, to be a part of it.
yeah.
So
And it's great. It is. It just adds, look, I go back to modify or move. Senior homeowners, even us, we are going to be faced with the two questions. Are we going to have to modify our homes to live safely, or are we going to have to move in order to live safely? And where are we going to go? So we in our professions are here to help them make those choices easier and give them and educate them. So homeowners have owned their homes for so long, and it's really hard to get rid of memories. However, as we educate ourselves, homeowners, and everybody else, it makes it easier to make those decisions and to understand why either we can't live safely or why we need to move to a safer area, to a
And I think-
safer home.
When we get to that point where we're talking about the innovations in senior living, we can get people excited about moving instead of dreading it, because there's a lot to look forward to in some of these places.
And WheelPad is just one of the things that we have coming. There's a lot of great people we've got coming on, like a podcaster, and so we're gonna have fun with this.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
So that's great. We had a wonderful meeting. Thank you for coming and we hope to see you soon. Anything
Thanks,
else?
guys.
Okay, we're signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was great.
Bye.